It's Friday the 16th of May, and now is a great time to share the latest hiring market update for the world of digital procurement and supply chain, because I've spent the last 3 days in London, first at a DPW event, then at the World Procurement Congress for 2 days. And the question that everyone's been asking me is the same one that everyone always asks me, what's going on in the hiring market? But it's been a little bit different this year, because that question's been predominantly coming from some very, very senior people who really want to get my insights as to what I'm seeing. Of course, job seekers are always asking me that, and those conversations certainly took place. But discussing these sort of trends with senior leaders has been fascinating. I'm now able to share a summary. So I'm going to start with a few headlines, then I'll talk about the demand side, then the supply side, and finish with a few comments about what I really think about some of the behaviours that we're seeing. So the headline: hiring is really hard at the moment. We're living in uncertain times, and procurement supply chains at the forefront of that, and the difficulties that they're facing making decisions have a knock-on effect to the software vendors, the consultancies, and of course the people who supply into all those areas of the ecosystem in people. And so we're seeing a lot of challenges for organisations who want to bring in people. How busy is the market? Well, that's a really different thing to call, because we've been very busy for the last few months, and certainly there's a lot of roles out there, there's a lot of organisations in the market to hire people. But one of the questions that a lot of people ask me is, are these people serious? Are they really serious about hiring, or are they just playing at it? And we'll talk about some of the things that we're seeing that suggest that, or prompt those questions, in a moment. But what I can say is this: there's definitely genuinely strong demand for very high performers in various different types of go-to-market roles: sales, pre-sales, product marketing, etc. So if you give an example, if you are a really proven software salesperson with great tenure on your CV, good performance against quota throughout your career, there's a lot of demand for your skills at the moment, and you can go into market and have your choice of several really exciting vendors. But you're probably very valued where you are, so would you move in uncertain times? And so that sort of marketplace is a microcosm of what's going on at the moment. And I think the message I've got for a lot of organisations is, if you're serious about hiring these top quality people, you've got to start really improving your hiring approaches, your talent attraction strategy, because we're seeing a lot of companies getting their own way, waste a lot of their own time with poor processes and taking a long time over things. And we're losing people either to direct competitors, or in some cases, as I made the point in LinkedIn recently, we're also losing people out of the procurement supply chain sector. People are tired of the time it takes to go through processes. They think it reflects the wider market that we're in, and they're going elsewhere. And we will regret losing those people at some point in the future, particularly when the market's genuinely buoyant at some point when we get through this economic period. So yeah, a difficult market to call. On the supply side, I've already touched on sort of really top performers. For those people who've got good CVs, they might have made a wrong turn at some point in the last 12, 18 months, or they might have had a bit of difficulty with tenure at some point. It might be through no fault of their own, or they may look back and think, I could have made a better call there. It's more difficult for those people, and those are people that are really getting very, very frustrated with the amount of time it's taking organisations to make decisions, or the number of interviews that are going on, or the sort of haphazard nature of their hiring. And so this is the sort of frustrations that we're hearing an awful lot about. So yeah, a very mixed picture, very, very difficult to call. Let me give you some examples of some of the ways that organisations are not helping themselves. There's an organisation that we've been speaking to recently, and they came to market for a particular role, a vital role. And when you look at what they're actually looking for, it's like 3 roles in one. And if they've actually sat down to say, are those roles, is that skill set, available in the marketplace? It's not. It's just not complementary skills. So they're coming to the market with a vision of what they want to hire, but actually not a realistic expectation of what's possible. Others are having never-ending selection processes, which are really disengaging people. The inability to make a decision, sending a message to candidates that maybe it's not the right organisation to work for. So that's just 2 examples of the sort of practices that we're seeing. And this gives rise to the comment I made earlier about, it's really difficult to call the market. So what I would say is this. I saw a great presentation from Spend HQ, I should say, from Pierre from Spend HQ, with the CPO of Augury this week. And the CPO said, if I want to paint a wall, I could probably do that myself, but I'd be better off, I'd get a better result if I employed a decorator. And I made a video recently about talking about how, business leaders, if you employ a lawyer, you don't just get them to write a contract, you take their advice on legal matters. If you employ an accountant, you don't just get them to do your numbers, you actually take their advice on financial matters. So recruiters are getting very frustrated that they're not being listened to. And it's interesting that our very best customers that we worked for years are getting much better results at the moment than the companies that we've started working with in the last 6 or 9 months. And that's because the companies that we work for years, they respect us, they listen to us, they take our advice in the selection process, and they make better decisions, and they're able to make the hires they want to make. Whereas businesses that perhaps don't have that trust, and I've heard this a lot from other recruiters that I know in my network, they're not being listened to, they're just seen as a source of CVs. Recruitment's really difficult. If you want to be good at it, it's best to take the advice from an expert. That might be me, it might be my business partner Simon Redbury, it might be somebody completely different. Get some advice. It's difficult, and if you want to compete for the best people, you need to get better at it. That's my message to the market. If you're looking for a new role, of course, I'd love to hear from you. If you're having challenges with hiring along the lines I've just mentioned, I'd love to give some guidance and advice and the benefit of my many years of experience. Thanks for watching. Hope you found it useful. I'll do another update in a month's time after DPW in New York, which I'm very much looking forward to. Thanks a lot.